Well, we have Emil and Holly. Thanks for joining me on this platform today.
No problem.
We're here to honour and love on and tell some good stories about our
I've got a few of them.
And I know that you guys have got some good stories. Before we get to that, do you remember? Do you remember the year that you guys met, Pastor Keith and Janet?
I don't remember the year. I was 10, I believe, I'm waiting for Mum to nod. Yeah, 10 years old when I came to Victory Baptist Church.
Yes, true.
And
true.
I just turned 30, so 20 years.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's so good. What about you, man?
I think, I was trying to think about it, it's about 17-ish years ago, possibly, or 17 or 16 years ago.
And first impressions, like when you met them, you were like, what?
Am I allowed to say mongrel from stage? Well, I come to church and someone decided to prophesy over me and say that the devil's trying to sift me as wheat, I believe it was.
Wow. Yeah, but what happened then?
Well, I thought, it's on.
He came to Victory to get away from the shadow of his mum,
Yeah,
a pastor.
that's true. I didn't want to be a pastor's kid anymore.
Right.
And someone decided to take me under their wing.
That's good,
Alright.
because the devil was going to sift you as wheat. That's a good call. Yeah, that's awesome. So, like, any early memories apart from that prophetic word? Like, what was some of the early stuff that took place?
I remember thinking, Pastor Janet is so lovely and soft, and Pastor Keith's so scary.
That was exactly my impression. I was like, this guy's scary as.
Oh, he's actually a teddy bear on the inside. Once you get past the scary exterior.
So true. All right, I know you're bursting with some funny stories, man. So you mentioned a couple earlier. What happened?
I suppose it's time to let the cat out of the bag, Pastor Keith. And I've got a confession to make as well. So it all started when we went on my first mission trip with Pastor Keith, and I'm like, yeah, newly married. He's like, come along. I'm like, mission trip, this is going to be easy. It's a glorified holiday. I'm going to be sitting by the pool, drinking pina coladas. We might go to a church service here or then, but at this time, we're beelining through customs because someone wouldn't let me go to the toilet because we were running late. We had to beat the line. At this point, we're on a missions trip and we've pretty much shopped every single day. One morning, we're like, I'm literally every morning getting woken up by Pastor Keith. You ready? I'm like, oh, yeah, let's go. Righto, give me 5, let me get in the shower. And we're walking down the street. We've walked this street that many times, and I think the confession is I think we've got an undercover closet metrosexual. I worked out when this happened was we were negotiating on a cheap $5 watch that was red because it had to match his shoes. And then I'm like, okay, rightio, and then this is pretty cool. And then my confession is, Pastor Keith, is that we went out for dinner one night and I'm like, I am not eating that because that does not look right. He's like, no, you got to be polite, you got to eat everything. 4 hours later, I get a phone call, you better come up to my room. And I see Pastor Keith in the fetal position. I'm like, uh-oh. But then I rang Pastor Janet and said, he's fine, he's just faking it. And then, and I'm saying, my confession is, Pastor Keith, I was seriously like praising the Lord and thinking this was a mission trip miracle because I didn't have to go shopping for the next couple of days. And I could literally hang by the pool, and I'm ordering pina coladas, my pastor's up there not watching what I'm doing, drinking it. It was awesome.
That is awesome. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. There's been many a shopping trip overseas, hasn't there?
Definitely loves to shop, yes.
The 7 levels of Mangadua, I'm pretty sure we did that in about...
A couple of times?
Yeah, I know. A couple of times in one trip because you have to go back because I didn't get that watch at that right price,
yes.
Right? Yeah, that's right. That's so good. All right, any funny stories from you, Holly?
Oh, I can't go past pre-marriage counselling.
Oh, hello. Really?
I won't go like details, of course.
Yeah, we're going to be sensitive
but,
right now. That's good. Yeah.
But it's pretty special when you like get on someone's couch in their house and talking about marriage and sex and all those fun things. But I remember saying to them after we got married, we need post-marriage counselling, not just pre-marriage counselling. And I loved it because I'd say to Pastor Janet, can we come over for dinner? Like, we need some help, we're struggling.
I wasn't struggling.
No, but I loved it because I feel like Emil only ever listens to Pastor Keith, no one else. But he was always on my side. I don't know why, it doesn't happen that way.
Ridiculous.
That is awesome.
Those are some fun memories.
So let's switch gears into legacy now. Would you say that your marriage has been part of a legacy of Pastor Keith and Janet?
100%. I wouldn't say I don't think we'd make it, but there's even marriage, when someone calls you out of the blue and goes, "How you doing? How's things going? Let's have a catch up," and stuff like that. That was pretty important to us and pretty special for us, especially Pastor Keith I grew up without a dad and took me under his wing a bit, which was pretty special.
That's awesome. Wow.
So it was good to have like real conversation and stuff like that.
I think when you're talking legacy, like something they've fostered and created here, which is church family, which is beyond just a service and a building and a church name or whatever. Like church family, you never go past that. Like that's something that stays with you forever. And I think definitely marriage, but being a part of the church family as a whole, like I remember thinking, I've got so many people here that maybe I don't see them or talk to them every week, but that I know I could call if I was in trouble. And 100% that's their legacy that they've created. And just solid relationships and friendships and 50 aunties and uncles and grandparents. And and having a marriage within that context is everything. And that's how a part of why we've made it. And we'll make it.
And we'll be having words later on. And he's like, oh.
Yes,
doesn't mean what you think it means. Oh. That's great. Thank you, guys. Anything else to add?
I think for me, the most important thing that I've had with these guys is that it's not always what they say, it's what speaks Jesus to me is that you can come as you are, never feel judged. I can be who I am, day to day, with Pastor Keith. I can speak real. I can fight with him, wrestle with him, tell him that gambling's okay, even though he wanted me to tie 10% if I won. And never, ever, ever felt judged, condemned. Always, I can go to him and I know that I can come as I am and be loved. And for me, my mum did that to me. And for me, that's what Jesus is, you know. Come as you are, no judgment.
So good.
And you love. So
we've always known
here's Jesus to me, you know. In that, that's just, and that's what I want in my family, you know.
Yep.
I want my kids to be able to come, not feel judged, and I've learned that from my mum and Pastor Keith and Janet. So
come on. Yeah. You put our hands together for these three. Thanks, guys. You turn your attention to the screen again for some more videos. Thanks.